everyone, and welcome to this episode of Discovering Laguna Woods. I'm Cindy Whitney, and today's show is going to be a lot of fun because we're going to discover some hidden gems here in our community. We're going to start by going to a clogging class where the dancers tap their heels and toes to some very exciting and fast-moving musical rhythms. And of course, they're also getting their steps in. But then we're going to come over to the topic masters, and those folks are kind of on their toes too because they are asked a question that they have never heard before, and they have to stand up at a podium and give a 2-minute response to that question. So they can be very challenging, it can be very interesting, and it can also be very funny. So we hope that you stay tuned, we hope that you stay with us because it's going to be a really interesting show. So stay right there and we'll be right back. Stay there. We are now in the multi-purpose room in Clubhouse 1, and I am speaking to the unstoppable Edith Jones. Edith, thank you so much for having us come in today.
Thank you for coming.
It is our pleasure. A friend of mine told me about this class, and so she just loves it. And so I came over about a week or so ago and sat here, and I'm just in awe of everything that takes place here. Tell me why you like teaching this class.
Oh, that's a good question. I like seeing how the girls interact with each other and how quickly they catch on. It's just a good, wonderful teaching experience.
It seems to be very gratifying. I see you watch them pick up the steps and learn the movement and so forth very quickly, and that's got to be very gratifying for you to see that happen.
It is. Mostly they teach themselves. As they assist me, it's a wonderful experience. That's all I can say. Can't say too many good things.
I can see that, and it seems like they do a lot of homework too. So they're practicing on their own, which is a good thing, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, YouTube, very helpful, and they do it. They find time to practice away from campus or on campus, other venues where they can work.
Now, you told me you've been teaching this particular class for how many years?
9 years. Yeah, I was asked to do it for 2 weeks, and we're still here. Still new people coming in each week. We get new people, and they like it, and I like it. And I like it that they like it.
Yes. Yeah, I see that you have one new student today, and you pointed out that she was a new student, and I thought, well, how can she be? She's dancing, she's keeping up with everybody. How is that happening? How does that work?
Well, if you can count and follow and not be afraid to try. And they usually will jump right in. The music just encourages movement.
Yes. So this is clogging, and we'll get a little bit into the history of clogging because it seems like every culture in the world seems to claim to have begun the clogging dance. So it seems to be like a folk dance that has become popularized throughout time because it can be dance. You can dance to any type of music, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yes. Well, history says clogger came over from Europe, but they forgot, so they just created their own steps.
Yeah, and there's a particular shoe that's worn. It's a flatter shoe. It's not exactly a tap shoe, although there are taps attached to the front and the back. Is that correct?
Yeah, they're pretty much. We use tap shoes because they don't sell clogging shoes here. You have to order them. So I make do. We do. Tap shoes are okay.
Yes, you can do that. It's funny because I was sort of researching this, and one of the stories that has come out about the origins of clogging was that in the Industrial Revolution, both in Europe in the U.S., there were women primarily who were operating these big weaving machines, and they were told that they had to wear flat, hard shoes. So they would tap their feet to keep their feet warm, and they came up with all of these rhythms, and then they would compete on their lunch hour with the other groups. So, I mean, it's just kind of an unstoppable type of dance, it seems. It just sort of shows up.
Movement. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
But the clogging shoes are a little different. They have two metal taps on the clogging shoes, so you get more noise. More noise.
So there's a little hinge there that the metal pieces.
Yes. Two on the heels and two on the toes. So you get a real staccato type sound.
It does. It feels like it's part of the percussive sound of the dance. It feels like almost like a musical instrument.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. It's part of it, and you can hear that.
Yes.
And we listen for that.
Yes.
And it counts.
Yes.
The clogging shoes are really noisy, and we like that.
Oh, I love it. I think it's a happy sound. It's a really happy sound. I can imagine that all ages. Now, you told me there are classes over in Laguna Hills that the person could go and pay for the lessons and so forth. And I think children even show up for that, don't they?
Yeah, we have grandmothers brought their grandchildren to dance class, all ages. And there's one big group where they're young children dance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's great because it's a fun way for people to get together, and it's hard not to smile, certainly when you're dancing, but just when you're watching the dancing, it's hard not to smile, because it's such a happy movement.
Oh, yeah. It's happy, and they love it. They help me a lot.
Yes,
They're right there.
They love you, and I noticed that you were having a little bit of help out there on the dance floor a little bit. And did you want to speak to why that is?
Well, I hadn't planned to tell you, but I had a stroke in January of last year. It's been a year. So I'm in physical therapy, and I have some memory problems, but they don't mind helping me, even you.
Well, I loved helping you. I loved helping you because it was such a positive experience to see you not giving up, getting back out there, being with these people who obviously care so much about you and love you, that it really warmed my heart to see that happening. So that's why I was saying you're unstoppable and you're indomitable, and I'm so impressed.
Well, in physical therapy, they say, what we're going to do, we'll do a vine. That's from the dancing we do here. Yes. And without the help, they pick me up, they help me in the car, they help me out. And
that's wonderful.
It's a wonderful experience.
Yeah, it is.
Don't give up. Just do it.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't feel embarrassed when I go from my chair.
No.
So, as long as they're doing. I have my assistants, 2 of them, and we have contracts, and we're part of the volunteer team here at the village, and I look forward to it.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. Well, I can't thank you enough, Edith, for letting us come into your class, to be around your wonderful dancers, and especially to be, in your presence. You are a very, very special lady, and I'm just really glad to have made your acquaintance and to celebrate you in this show today. So thank you very much, and I really thank you for having us, and we will be right back. And now I'm sitting here very comfortably with Vivian Marr, who is the president of Topic Masters. And Vivian, it's an exciting day to be here. How are you today?
I'm great, and it's great to have you here, Cindy.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Now, tell me the title of president of Topic Masters. What are your responsibilities?
My responsibilities as president, I sort of just organize the meetings make sure that all of our positions are filled, because each week people choose different responsibilities, different jobs.
Well, that's kind of nice because everybody gets a little bit of a different, they get to sense a different role that they play in making this whole time that you are together work. I'm not even clear how to define the time together because it moves quickly and it's very interesting. So let's just say, what happens in a typical session here?
Okay, in the first half of our meeting, we have one person who chooses to be the quiz master, and they write questions, and the questions aren't to stump you. They're to help you talk. They encourage you to speak, hopefully. So that person writes questions, and then she chooses someone to answer the questions, and they have 2 minutes to answer, and they only have the time that it takes to walk from their chair to the podium to think about their answers.
That's so good, and I have to tell you, I watched a TED Talk a couple of days ago, and the woman started her presentation by saying, and she was talking about drum circles, so she started her presentation by saying, the human brain is an amazing thing, and it starts the moment we're born, and it doesn't stop until we stand at a podium in front of a live audience. And I thought,
Exactly.
that's the level of fear a lot of people have with
Yes.
public speaking. So you're trying to get everybody to overcome this.
Yes, and I was the least likely person to be a member of Topic Master.
Why so?
I always feared speaking, and I just wasn't interested in being before a microphone.
Well, what helped you?
Well, someone invited me, and I felt how warm the atmosphere was. That people were here to encourage you and to make you feel comfortable. And so, I just loved it, and so I got involved.
That's part of it, isn't it? If you're presenting information, no matter what it is, whether it's something you know or something spontaneous and extemporaneous, as you have here, it helps if the audience is rooting for you.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Now, I was here last week, and that's how I came to know of you. And one of the questions are great, by the way. They're very unusual. And one of them was, tell me a time that you were ever in a scavenger hunt, or did you organize a scavenger hunt? And this woman got out of her chair, walked up to the podium, and she said, I'm in a scavenger hunt right now. I'm on a dating app, and I'm looking for a man. And I thought that was brilliant. And she went on her 2 minutes talking about the comparison of a dating app to a scavenger hunt.
Yes.
And it was brilliant.
Yes.
And she said, this is my first time. I thought, oh, this is incredible. This is really, really working for people.
Yes.
Have you noticed that someone has perhaps come into the group and they were very fearful about public speaking, and in a reasonable period of time they became very comfortable and very good at it? There have
Yes.
been?
Oh, yes. Helen is in our group, and she's 101 now. And when Helen came, it was probably it was 5 or 6 years ago, but she was so afraid of speaking, and she has really blossomed.
Oh, good.
She's just a wonderful speaker now.
Isn't that something? 101. Yes, I met her, and she's a very vivacious person, and I think it has probably done a lot for her overall outlook on life and her personality and enjoyment of people, all of that. So I think that's part of the reason why club is so popular is that it's social too, because you take a break. You have 2-minute speeches and then or answers, and then you have speeches after that are 10 minutes in length. But in between, you've got snacks, don't you?
Yes, we have our social hour. And since we meet every week, we really get to know people. And people, a lot of their answers are about themselves or about their lives. And so we really get to know people.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I few people that the questions are about their lives too. Did you ever talk yourself out of a speeding ticket and things like that? So they're very clever questions. They can be about a specific situation or an overall feeling about something. So, well, I thank you very much, Vivian, for taking some time away. I know we're getting set up for the class to take place today, and we'll be going in there and we're going to be taking some footage of these 2-minute speeches, so everyone can see the question and the responded answer. So we thank you very much, and I'll let you get back in there, and we're going to be heading in a second, okay?
Thank you very much.
Vivian, thank you for spending some time explaining the topic masters to us, and I'll see you in a second.
Okay.
Okay, and we'll be right back.
And what skill I would realistically think I could pick up. I guess the skill I would like to learn is a personality skill. Not to cook, not to sew, I gave up that a long time ago, but maybe to get a better control of my psyche, so I would have the skill of always doing the right thing at the right time. That I wouldn't have to go home and say, why did you say that? Why did you do that? Why didn't you think it over? Did you check your facts? Did you hurt someone's feelings? So I think I would love to have the skill of self-confidence, whatever that might come from, so that I wouldn't be afraid to approach the everyday things and perhaps therefore gain more joy in the everyday things of life by having the skill of a psyche with self-confidence. That's all. Thank you very much. If I learn to cook, I'll invite you.
Favorite family tradition. I'm going to go back to my original family to answer that, because in the house in which I was brought up, on Friday evening, it was like the world stopped and started with a very peaceful, loving, close, connected family. Regardless of all the garbage that went on during the week, on Friday, dinner time was a quiet time, and after dinner, there was singing. My mother sang beautifully. My father did not have a beautiful voice, but he carried a tune. I had a brother who sang beautifully, a sister who sang beautifully, and then there was me, the fourth of 5 children, who couldn't carry a tune. But I did a lot of humming, and it was such a very good feeling that I really do wish I had carried it on with my children, and we didn't, unfortunately. Although Friday, we did a little special celebration over wine and the bread that we eat on Friday. But that was a very important time. I'm very glad I had it. In my house, when the singing started, we had neighbors coming from around the area to come and join us. So that, not that they wanted us to sit, they couldn't do what we were doing, but they wanted the connection and they wanted to be there. And that's beautiful. That's a tradition that I hold very, very deeply in my heart. Thank you for asking it.
The problem is I've collected too much. I helped my mom break down her house and I was taking care of her, and a certain amount of her household was left with me. I moved into a house that was already completely furnished. I have all of their stuff, and then I have the breakdown from 30 years of teaching art and music and dance in cardboard boxes everywhere. So right now I live in a house that looks like an IKEA kind of warehouse. And I go through it layer by layer, and I'm sifting through what belongs to my mom's estate, what belongs to the house, what belongs to me. And I should be able to get rid of it, but everything I pick up is redolent of something, you know? So maybe that's my task now, is just to go through my Alibaba's cave and remember all kinds of wonderful things. So I probably should give it away, but right now I'll just sit embraced with all my hovel.
If I had to eat one meal for the rest of my life, what would it be? Well, I think Thanksgiving dinner would be appropriate. I think that would be probably the only credible answer that I could make. And I do appreciate food. It's a lifesaver to me. I enjoy making a pig out of myself, and I suspect that that's the thing that keeps me looking a little overweight, maybe a lot overweight.
Your worst enemy or no one, which would I choose? Definitely my worst enemy. Because I figure if I'm just on a deserted island, there may not be enough food. So they would be a credible source of sustenance for me. As I fall asleep one night, I could conk him over the head and eat him for breakfast in the morning. I don't know where else to go with that now.
I don't think you need to go any further.
Yeah, but I gotta talk for my time. I hope I don't have any enemies that I actually do that though too. That's a terrible thing to think of. But, oh well.
Good afternoon, Topic Masters. If I had a time machine, would I go back in time or into the future? Well, that's going to be easy. I'm going to go back in time, but I'm going to do something with that. I'm going to take everything I've learned up to this date and take it with me. That'll make me really deadly. And if I had to choose an age, let's just choose 29. Doesn't everybody like 29? I think that's the perfect immortal age. Old enough to know a few things, young enough to look good for anything. But if I know everything I know now at 29, I'll be super deadly. So I can go back and have a redo and get everything right that I tried and maybe didn't get right, or I would fast forward my future so that by the time I got to the end of my days, I could have all the check marks in my bucket list that I did everything I wanted to do and accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish. So definitely for me, I'm going back in time and I'm 29.
I want to thank you for joining us today, and I especially want to thank the clogging dancers who allowed us to come by, and they introduced us to this fast-moving dance form, especially longtime instructor Edith Jones. I also want to thank the president of the Topic Masters Club, Vivian Marr, and all of the Topic Masters who allowed us to come in and see the fast-moving art form of public speaking. So thank you so much. We are glad that you were here with us today. We hope that you continue to watch us on Wednesday and Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m. on Village Television, and anytime you want to on Village Television YouTube. Continue to take good care of yourselves and everyone around you, and we will see you next time and every time on Discovering Laguna Woods. Bye for now.